Hello YouTube, and welcome to another competitive Team Fortress 2 analysis. Today we'll be looking at RR, the Demoman for the Madmen, back in Season 14. This is a Week 3 match on CP Snakewater versus Apocalypse Gaming. Fortunately for the Madmen, they didn't make LAN last season. They just nearly missed it, got 5th place. But Apocalypse Gaming, their opponents, did make LAN. So I'm not going to spoil the results for you for this match. Hopefully you'll be able to watch it. It's very close, it's very exciting. The reason I chose to watch RR is because he actually had the most damage out of any player in Invite last season. So he outpaced a lot of other players. It's very impressive to watch, and yeah, I'm hoping to just be able to watch some of his play and hopefully learn something, and that'll make me a better player. Hopefully you'll be able to learn something as well. So without further ado, let's go hop into this demo. Alright, so Snakewater, it's one of those interesting mid fights. It's kind of like Granary, where it tends to resolve a little bit quicker, and you'll see that the Demoman will get to mid a lot quicker than any other player. You can see RR rolling out pretty quickly out the right side and shooting a sticky, imagining the Demoman's coming out the other side. Sweater looking for some damage from these stickies here. Not really able to find much early on, but at least he's full health himself. Bomber comes in. RR hasn't been the target of anyone yet here. Good damage, good pipe there onto Rando. And now with this 5-on-3, they're just going to push across. Are just spamming stickies left. And looks like AG are going to lose this first mid. So great job there by the Madmen. Take that. They lost their medic, Nosferatu, but you can see that they're doing a great job of just moving forward and taking ground, and RR spamming stickies down that left side. And when I say spamming, you'll notice that he's not really just shooting them as quickly as he can. A lot of times he'll charge them, and the objective there is to land the sticky as close to the enemy's body as you can. He's trying to hold them off there. He knows that Indust has an Uber, and as a result, his job is to try and slow down the enemy team and allow Nosferatu to build up an Uber in time. Unfortunately, Memphis Vaughn goes down, but he does get a force from Indust. So it's not going to be the best Uber from AG. And RR, again, just throwing spam towards the point. He's trying to slow down that capture. Nosferatu 20 seconds away from getting his own Uber. But unfortunately, without an Uber and a player down, looks like the Madmen are got to back off of middle. Now, I want to point out that this entire time, RR has been doing a great job of staying alive. He hasn't died yet. Despite taking points, losing points, and that's really important as a Demoman. Demoman has the opportunity to put out more damage than any other class on the field, but in order to be able to do damage, you need to obviously stay alive. So really important that he does that now. And we're gonna be watching an Uber push here from Nosferatu. I'm gonna slow down time. You can see that Nos has an Uber. Indus is just about to get his, and RR is not really looking to push anybody. He's kind of staying pretty far back on that right side, just tossing stickies from a distance. He's gonna eat one rocket here, but nothing big. Uber's gonna get popped, and he does take some of this Uber. Bit unfortunate there. The Demoman Uber, it's one of the weakest in the game, and also on even Ubers in this situation, you don't want to be bringing in other players. I think the Madmen might have miscounted because they brought so many players in on this, thinking that Indus was only gonna have Uber because Nosferatu was alive longer, or not alive longer, but he got his Uber. How do I explain this? Let me pause here. I guess what I mean to say is that because Indust used his Uber earlier when they were pushing middle, Nosferatu should have gotten his Uber faster. But Indust is really sneaky, and he's always building his Uber, and you can see there that he is able to get it in time to match up with Nosferatu. Both medics go down in the situation, and RR is in a bit of trouble. AG has more numbers, and they also have the respawn advantage from having middle. So RR rotates over to try and help his players out lower, but he's not going to be able to do that. He's going to go down himself. So I think what it really came down to there was they pushed out that right side. They brought in RR on the fight, thinking that they had an opportunity to multi, right? To bring more players in on that Uber, but unfortunately for them, it was actually an even Uber fight. And when it's an even Uber fight, you just want to let your pocket soldiers duel it out. You don't really want to bring in other players there, because the more players you bring in, the less Uber you're going to have, essentially. So right now we're seeing a pause, and I'm going to skip ahead to the next part. So hold on just a moment.
The control point is being captured.
Okay, so the pause is off, and we found that Nosferatu must have disconnected from the game. That's actually quite a long pause, so he must have had a lot of trouble getting in. He's gonna go down trying to defend last, and RR is gonna spawn right here. Be able to throw some stickies there and defend the last point and hold this off just a little bit longer. And the Madmen, it's 5-on-4 for them. They're trying to get some ground here in the lobby, and the reason they're taking ground is because they want to be able to use this ground to kite this Uber coming in from Indust any moment now. You can see that Indust has a very large 50% Uber advantage, which means he's going to get it a good 20 seconds before Nosferatu can. And RR was trying to set up some sneaky traps in the lobby, maybe get Indust to drop, maybe get them to drop a player before this push comes. At the minimum, AG are going to be slowed down a little bit to try and clear these traps out that RR is placing. He's actually still replacing that trap on that right side. But it looks like this Uber's going to come in any moment now. It's actually a Kritzkrieg. Sweater takes down Blank early on. Can RR get any frags here for his team? Snoopy's going to go down to the crits as well. You can see RR just pumping out damage. Does take down Rando. Now sees a scout on the point to help finish him off. And I like the way he's line of sighting this heavy here. Maybe 4-on-3 at last point. RR trying to put pressure onto the combo. Ooh, almost dies to the sticky coming in from Sweater underneath. Actually, Sweater goes down. So this is a unique opportunity for the Madmen to actually push out of this. Now, you'll notice just the way that the Ubers are working right now as I pause this game. Even though Indust had a 50% Uber advantage, or Kritzkrieg advantage, takes it in. Nos is just getting his Uber now, but it's going to be a normal Uber versus Kritzkrieg fight on the second point, and Sweater is down. So as he's moving ahead, he's not afraid of any traps at all. Nothing can really hurt him except for a couple spam rockets coming in. He knows that the heavy, which is very immobile, has to play far back. The heavy cannot engage the Demoman because the Demo is a long range damage class and the heavy is a short range sustained damage class. So he's got to play far away, and RR just pushing ahead. He wants to take as much ground as possible, like I said. You see them pushing ahead here, and RR trying to go for this heavy, maybe force him out of the fight. You see the heavy on top of the roof, and RR is going to throw some stickies at him, try and take him down. You need your entire team to focus him down if possible. You get him. Squid goes down as well here, so it looks like the Madmen use their Uber and take back the second point. So 6-on-4, anytime you have a 2-man advantage, you want to push. Blank tried his best to push out of that lower area, but gets taken down by Rando, and RR, he's expecting a push any moment from AG. Remember, AG still have a Kritzkrieg, and Nosferatu is on Uber, so Indust is going to get his Kritzkrieg at least 20% earlier. It looks like it's going to be closer to 40% earlier. And so RR is placing traps as far in as he can. Again, the Kritzkrieg doesn't make you invulnerable, but it gives you, 100% crits. So as long as you're placing traps, you can prevent them from coming in or at least slow them down a little bit. You see RR trading damage with the Demo. He sees the crits go off. And Snoopy gets an opening pick for his team. That's really great. And nice dodge there from RR. So they're just going to back off of this. And now it's their turn to push. They have full Uber advantage over Indust. Snoopy goes down, but it's still 5-on-5. They gotta go quickly because Kapow is gonna respawn and be able to run the mid and make it a 6-on-5 fight. So looks like RR is covering this flank, takes down Squid. Nice job there. More frags going down for the Madmen as the Ubers use, and RR gonna stand on the point. I believe he's not using Pain Train. A lot of Demomen will use the Pain Train, but not required. But one reason that Demoman use the Pain Train is because it gives you more capture time at the cost of taking more hit scan damage, and if you're playing with good positioning as a Demoman, you might play a little bit farther back, but it's not required because a lot of times Demomen aren't really needing to be capping. You see him spamming on this left side, and a lot of times from what I'm noticing from watching him play is that he will play in front of his pocket soldier Blank a little bit just to create some space for his team, get some extra damage in there on that left side. But the other thing I'm watching too is that his health value, he's pretty much consistently staying over 150. See, Boink goes down, and looks like the Madmen are going to trigger this push. Again, they have an 80% Uber advantage, so they want to bring in a lot of players in. Looks like RR takes down Kapow. Memphis Vaughn gets 2 of his own, so AG are in a lot of trouble. That second point is going to go down. They leave a scout to capture it, and RR just walks underneath, getting himself towards the point. Scout goes down on the right side. Good sticky. And Madmen are going to take this round 1-0. Alright, so let's see. Let's just really briefly talk about the round that we just saw. Again, when you guys are watching these demos, really pay close attention to certain key elements. What I'm watching for when I'm watching RR in this particular demo is for him and how he interacts with the Uber. We saw when they pushed with what they thought was an Uber advantage earlier on. They took the Demoman in on the fight, and then when it's even Ubers, they tend to not take RR in. Another thing that I'm noticing is he keeps high health, and he's not really spamming a ton of stickies. I mean, it looks like he's shooting a lot of stickies off, but I also notice him sticky sniping a bit as well. But he likes to get himself involved in these fights, and let's check out this next mid. Last time he went on that right side. Let's see if he goes for it again. Yeah, he's gonna go right side. And for the first 2 stickies or so, you're trying to look to get a sticky on the Demoman, and then the next 2, I would say you're looking for damage on a scout. He does hit one on the squid. And then as soon as these bombers come in, he's gonna pull out these pipes. Yep. And he hit some good ones there onto Boink, and wow, and looks like Rando's gonna go down as well here. So Madmen are looking pretty strong on this mid as well as the last one. Again, leaving, oh, they're not leaving a scout to cap. Okay. RR not using Pain Train, he's capturing the point very slowly. You can see he's getting to mid in a timely manner, and then at the minimum he's pushing Sweater back and then getting stickies onto the scouts. And really, you could push forward aggressively. I think RR is pretty far forward from what I've been seeing. I mean, he's not overextended, but he's generally farther forward than what I've seen from other Demomen who play Snakewater mid. It looks like Madmen, 70% Uber advantage, want to begin pushing from that right side shutter. And let's see who they take on this Uber. Again, they have Uber advantage, so they want to flash a bunch of people in. They're going to take, it's like 2 scouts and then maybe RR at the end. And it's good that they have RR there to take down the sentry. Also, maybe get some damage on this heavy on that left side. I like how he sits above the point. Wow, so much damage coming in. And that's a nice, easy round win for the Madmen. That was a textbook win. When you wipe the enemy team like that, you get second point for free, and then the idea is to roll into last as quickly as you possibly can so that they can't set up. They didn't go that quickly. I mean, you saw there was a level 2 sentry and also the heavy above the point, but they went in at a decently quick pace. At least before Dusk could get Uber. Again, 3 stickies here against Demoman, and now he's looking for the next 2 on the scouts. Wow, hitting so much damage above this shack. Soldier bombs in on him, but he's able to juggle him away and hit a good pipe onto Boink. And you think RR, wow, another one here on Rando. He's created a good advantage for his team early on, but the aggression coming from AG, they just threw their scouts in after, and were able to take this mid. So RR is gonna stay alive here actually, and while he's doing this, it looks like he's just trying his best to stay alive, hold off these enemy scouts as best he can, and he does make it out. If he died there, it would have been catastrophic. He would have been on a really long respawn timer. They would have no chance here of fighting second point. But let's really briefly talk about this fight here that they're about to engage in. You saw that both medics went down on middle, and RR was the only surviving member from the Madman, so he's backing himself off. Again, if he dies, there's no way they can hold the second point because it's going to be a 6-on-5. Blue team will have their Demoman, red team will not have their Demoman, and that will just allow AG to just roll their way in. But because RR stayed alive here, he's able to just come back in and stop the second point with the rest of his team. Demoman really has 2 roles as a damage dealer. Again, he's long range, so he doesn't want to be taking too many heals away from the pocket soldier. If you think of the game like, you would think of like an MMO. If you guys have ever played the PV, like World of Warcraft or any of these other games, you'll have a tank, and his job is to soak up all the damage, and he puts himself out there. That's your pocket soldier. And then you have 2 forms of damage, right? You have your close range damage, your scout, and your Demoman is your long range damage. And when you think about it, your Demoman, it's true, the closer he gets to the enemy, the more damage he can do because he needs less time to charge his stickies. But at the same time, you don't want to be putting your Demoman in harm's way, because if he does die, then the enemy likely has will have take that advantage and roll their way in there because you're missing such a big part of your damage output. So so on the one hand, Demoman does damage. On the other hand, his job is to lock out the enemy combo. If there's no Demoman alive, no sticky traps, the enemy can do what's called a slow push, where they use their heals to just slowly work their way into the next zone through a choke point. But for Demoman, he can just put a trap somewhere, and that completely stops that. I mean, the enemy team does have to clear the trap, but it allows your other players time to pressure them so that they cannot clear the trap. And that's what locks them out effectively. So it's really important that your scouts are calling which side the enemy combo is pushing from, and then your Demoman rotates to that side to lock them out. So we see here, now that it's even Ubers, even numbers, RR's job is to push out the enemy team, and then, you know, at that point, find the enemy combo and sort of lock them out there. It looks like with this number advantage though, they're going to try and make their way into mid. You see Sweater, the enemy Demoman, trying to lock out their combo. He sees that Madman's combo is coming left, so he's going to try and lock them out there. Boink trades with Snoopy, still a man advantage for the Madman. But at this point, Kapow with the respawn advantage should be able to get back to mid faster than the Madman can push into mid. So it looks like they're just going to have to settle for holding second point. You can see RR rotating his way over towards the right side, and on Snakewater, that sawmill on the right, on the saw room or whatever they call it, on the right side tends to be the side that teams push most frequently. It's covered, so you know there's less chance of you getting bombed out, and also it's more controlled. You have a health pack there as well, and it's not as wide of an open area. It's easier for even Uber fights. So you see RR is going to be playing this side. I don't think I see a trap from him. Yeah, he's just been spamming pipes. But actually, here's something weird to admit. Demoman's actually my weakest class, so it's always interesting to me to watch a Demoman play. And from what I've been seeing from him thus far, he's been using about maybe 70% of the time I'd be saying stickies, maybe 80%. And if you guys are newer to Demoman and you're watching him play, observe how he uses his stickies and his pipes. He's using the stickies to lock them out there, and then the pipes come in for close range damage or extra spam once his trap is up. You can see he has that trap on that right side, and I've kind of lost track of his ammo when he needs to reload. He doesn't have that many pipes or many stickies reloaded. He just seems to be firing away, just firing as much as he can as fast as he can. And I'm not quite sure why he's doing that, because even Ubers, so he's got to be expecting to push any moment here, and if he has nothing loaded, this could be trouble. Soldier's gonna bomb in. That's Boink down to 2 health. Snoopy's gonna finish that off, and looks like the Madman can push off of this 6 on 5. You gotta go quickly. Boink's gonna spawn in 15 seconds, and they have 15 precious seconds to make a fight happen and then come out on top with this man advantage. So you see them now pushing in, even Ubers. So RR is gonna stay out of this fight, or trying to stay out of this fight at least. He's gonna have to take a flash here as Rando pushes him, and that's gonna put him in an interesting, dicey situation. He's down to 60 health. Rando gonna take him down. That's tough, and you know you're 6 on 5. You want to make your way into middle as best you can, and you want to get damage on the enemy team, because that's what's gonna make the enemy medic split his Uber. And when he splits his Uber, he's gonna lose time on his Uber. The Uber lasts 8 seconds, but for each person that you flash, you're gonna lose about 1 second. So the more people you get him to flash, the better. But unfortunately, he just played a little bit too close. Nosferatu had to flash him, and that's what really cost him that hold right there. Now I've seen some Demomen at lower levels play farther back. They just don't want to have anything to do with the Uber at all, but RR, you can see he had a pretty aggressive position there in the saw, trying to get them to split, and it actually cost him making him split. So see how this next part goes. Unfortunately, the pocket soldier blank dies. The Uber's popped from Indus. Nosferatu doesn't have Uber yet. This is a lot of trouble for the Madman. I'm not quite sure what R is doing. He's hitting pipes on Uber players. Maybe trying to juggle them up or something, slow them down a bit. Now it's over. So AG gonna take their first round of the first half. Of course, 2-1. Madman still in the lead. And last season, AG took 4th place. Madman took 5th place, so both these teams are very evenly matched from what we've been seeing. And I would check the scoreboard for you, but I want to check out this next mid. Again, RR has gone right 3 times in a row. Good damage there on a Sweater early on, brings him down to 100 health. Now he's going to be looking at the scouts. Oh, he eats too much damage. Boink comes in from behind him to take him down. It's going to be tough. So, going back to what I was saying earlier, you know, why is it that you just go for the Demoman and then the scouts? Why don't you go for the soldiers instead? The Demoman and scouts tend to get to mid the quickest out of all the classes. The soldiers tend to escort the medic to middle because they need the extra health, and they also want to build the Uber for the medic. So it just happens to be that you shoot the scouts, and if you shoot the scouts and get damage onto them, that puts them in a worse position when they're trying to defend themselves against the bombing soldiers. So if you can get a sticky onto a scout, that's very advantageous for you. Now we're checking out this last point hold. Unfortunately, this Uber's just going to roll right in dust. Great job there flashing his teammates, and there's really nothing that RR can do from this position. So I've seen teams be able to successfully hold the last point without an Uber, but it's very difficult. A lot of teams tend to take their Uber with full advantage down that left side, down the shutter door like you just saw. I'm going to pause right here. A lot of teams will take the Uber left, out the shutter door, and it gets you closer to the enemy team, and also just puts you right in their face, where in a situation where you don't have to cross a lot of distance to get to them. So what you'll commonly see in the current metagame, at least, is that the Demoman will sticky up that shutter door, and then you'll play on top of the point to kite the Uber away. So when you see it come in, you just cross over to the right side of the map and use... Snakewater has a very large last point, so you'll use that entire area to try and kite the Uber. Unfortunately there, RR wasn't able to cross over in time, and AG just got all over them. So anyways, the score is 2-2. Pretty close game. RR's gone to mid, was it 3 or 4 times in a row down that right side. So what we can be expecting is for him to consider going down that right side again. Why would he switch sides? Well, if he takes early damage from Sweater, if Sweater's predicting him to come out on that right side, if he does it too many times and it's too predictable and Sweater's actually hitting his shots, then you might switch sides there to throw him off on the first couple stickies. See, for Demoman, for their stickies at least, it takes a long time to reload, or a relatively long time to reload, so it's really important that you're using your stickies wisely in the beginning. First couple stickies, pretty good to put him on the Demoman. After that, put him on the scouts, and then your last 4 stickies really is going to go on anyone who's overextended. A lot of times on Snakewater, players will try and take the high ground, so you're going to throw stickies up there. Other times, you're going to be looking to, maybe push your way across there, and you want to have something loaded. So let's see what he goes for on this next mid. He's gone right every single time. That left side rollout is pretty viable too. You've seen Sweater pulling that left side rollout. He hasn't seen Sweater yet. Okay, he actually decides to go for the scout. That scout is very aggressive. He doesn't really land much damage onto him, and now he's going for these soldiers the last couple stickies, and now that he's used all his stickies, he's gonna throw out the pipes. Not really hitting anything on the Boink here though, but Snoopy takes him down. And yeah, you can see that RR didn't put out a lot of damage early on in this fight, and that's gonna cost him and his team. Madmen don't really have much to go off of. When you think about going back to my MMO analogy, the heavy classes in this game, the soldiers and Demoman, they're going to start the damage on players, and then they're going to call that damage out to their scouts, who are very quick, really good at cleaning up, and they're going to be able to go in. If you don't start the damage though, the scouts really have nothing to go off of, and what you saw there, RR wasn't hitting too much damage on his Sweater, not too much on the scouts either, and then when he pulled out the pipes, he missed a lot, allowed the enemy team with a lot more health to just push their way across there. And now you see RR trying his best to hold off this combo, and oh my goodness, wasn't able to sticky jump away in time. A good effort, but it's difficult. I mean, when you lose your medic on mid like that, the enemy team can just roll your last with Uber, and there's a fine line between holding close and trying to force that Uber early, and then holding a little too close and getting caught out there. So that's a bit tough. So now we're at halftime. AG are winning 3-2, and we play first to 5 in North America. And if you're the Madmen right now, you're thinking, okay, the mids haven't gone too poorly thus far, but they haven't been the best. I mean, the first 2 rounds, the Madmen were looking really solid, and then after that, AG have been winning the mids. And right now, it seems at least that whoever wins mid wins the round. I'm just gonna fast forward through this mid. Oh, looks like we're starting the second half already. Okay. So switch colors. Madmen on blue. And he's gone right side every other mid, so I don't see a reason to change it now. That sticky jump, by the way, low and fast, like what he's doing, is actually very difficult to pull off. Takes a lot of practice. Again, not hitting too much damage early on here. I'm gonna slow down time. You can see he hits one onto Squid again, and now he's aiming for the top of the shack, trying to get damage onto Sweater. He actually juggles him out pretty well and allows a soldier to get a rocket on him. Let's see what else he's going for. He's gonna shoot more pipes towards that right side. Ooh, does get flanked. And Madmen are gonna be down in numbers, down their Demoman. Looks like AG are probably gonna take this mid. Looks like 3-on-3. Scout Soldier versus Scout. And Madmen, I think, are coming out on... No, AG, sorry, are coming out on top. Got my colors mixed up, and yeah. So AG take yet another mid, looking to make it 4-2. And I think Nosferatu lagged out. Dang. Well, this wasn't what I was expecting from this demo. I admittedly did not watch the entirety of this demo before I decided to go with it. But hopefully what you're seeing is valuable to you. There's so many things that are going on when you're watching a Demoman play, because it's probably, I personally think it's the most difficult class in the game. I don't know what you guys think, but it's tough. You have a delay on the damage that you can actually do. You're at range, so you really need to have good prediction skills, and there's a lot riding on you when you're playing Demoman, because if you do die, if you do get overextended, if you get caught out, you're putting your team in an awful situation. Alright, so looks like AG gonna have a 30% Uber advantage pushing last. Let me just reload my HUD to make sure. Oh, it's gonna be even Ubers here. Okay. So in this even Uber hold, you're seeing RR throwing pretty deep stickies here. Usually you wouldn't have your Demoman in such a vulnerable situation. He just left click, right clicking. Maybe that's how he gets such high damage numbers, right? You see Blank just taking a very passive role in this. He's just keeping his crit heals, or keeping his 300 at least, and playing near the door, letting RR do most of the heavy work. And RR's deading his stickies is kind of dangerous for him, because if he deads his stickies and the enemy times it correctly, they can actually push into him, but he's playing in such a way where he's not going to get caught out at this choke. And he's playing generally pretty cautiously, just throwing stickies in there, making life difficult for AG on this next push. Oh, soldier right around the corner. Looks like they're going to try and bring this Uber in, and RR's going to have to take some of it. Oof, I think this is going to be pretty bad actually, because I'm going to refresh my HUD in just a moment, but I think Indus did not use his Uber. Yeah, that's correct. So that's the danger of playing too close as a Demoman like that. The soldier just easily pushed into him, and it forced Nosferatu to pop the Uber. If you were a soldier with 300 health playing at that choke, you can just surf that rocket away, or juggle him up and try and combat that. As a Demoman, your damage is delayed. Your stickies, when you can get them to juggle up players, is delayed, so you need to have your trap up pretty far in advance, and also you're not very good at defending yourself at close range. As you see, the soldier bombs into him, and there's really not much you can do about it other than surf it away. Yeah, and that's what we just saw right there. AG came in with the better Uber and took the round. So the score's gonna be 4-2, AG in the lead, and admin are gonna have to make a pretty crazy comeback if they want to take this back. AG have been pretty dominant on the last couple mids. I would say the last 3 or 4 mids, huh? Again, early sticky onto Sweater. Now he's looking at the scout's left side and trying to deny Sweater from getting up onto the shack. Good damage here coming onto the soldiers as well. Wow, you can see he's playing pretty aggressively, pretty far across that midway line of scrimmage on mid. Unfortunately though, he tried his best. He was throwing out a lot of stickies there at mid, and just I don't know if his team was unable to connect on that. That's the difficult part about playing demo, is you're not really seeing too much of why you weren't winning. You could see that most of his stickies were connecting. Trying his best to hold off the right side and the left side at the same time, and Nosferatu's gonna have to pop his Uber here. Bit unfortunate. AG are gonna come in with yet a better Uber, and RR trying his best to hold them off. He's sticking up underneath, and wow, Mike and Blank come in and turn some pretty big picks for their team. They lose their medic, but as a consolation prize, they take down just about everybody except for Indust. Wow. So what was an awful situation turns into a pretty good situation for the Madmen here, and they're going to be able to retake mid. Again, I'm not the best Demoman in the world, but from what I was seeing, when they were pushing yard, he was throwing his pipes, and My understanding of it is that if you're gonna just throw your stickies and debt them as soon as possible and they're far away anyways, you might as well just use pipes. Also, if they're coming through a choke point, then it's really good to use pipes as well. You can see it's sort of his holding situation, even Ubers. And this is a really crucial round for the Madmen. Match point for AG. If the Madmen give up this round, then it's over. So this is their chance. They're on offense now, they have the middle point, and they need to make sure that they win this round. So they're going to probably take this pretty slowly, pretty methodically. They might go for something conservative like just a roamer bomb. We'll see what RR goes for here as he's poking this left side, trying to force Sweater away. Now he's not worried about deading his stickies actually, because really no one from AG is going to push into him. So as long as he's sticking up the corners here, he should be fine. You can see he's playing pretty aggressively after that bomb went in, and Mike is able to turn a frag onto Boink, coming off of that sticky damage. So at this point, Madmen should be pushing 6 on 5. Not really seeing that. Okay, finally they decided to go yard. They exchange the Ubers. Again, uneven Ubers, you don't want to bring your Demoman in. And Blank actually gets 2 frags there on both of the scouts for AG, so R is going to be in his push. He's not worried about capturing it all, he's just going to begin pushing upper lobby. And this is a pretty crucial moment right here for the Madmen. They got 2 frags on the scouts, and that was a little bit ago, and then they also got 1 on the medic. You can see that the medic is on a different spawn wave, about 8 seconds longer. So in this time, what AG is trying to do is spam the upper lobby and slow down the pushing Madmen. And what the Madmen are trying to do is to combat that. They want to get to last as soon as possible, because in 8 seconds they're going to have scouts up, and in 16 seconds they're going to have heals. So you really need to just move it as quickly as you can. So you see him, you know, clearing upper lobby, and then he's going to load up and then try and get into last, get some stickies onto the spawn doors, because that's where the scouts are going to be coming out in just a couple seconds. You can see him moving down that left side. That soldier's pretty hurt, and he sees an opportunity. It's basically 6 on 4 with the soldier being that hurt. They take down Rando, and yeah, again, stickies on that left side spawn door, and that's going to get the point for Madmen. Pretty close match, huh? 4-3, AG still in the lead. And even though AG won the last mid, they lost the round, so maybe they've broken the curse here, the Madmen have. And wow, early sticky onto Sweater again. RR really likes playing this left side, as you can see. Soldier's gonna bomb in on that right. He's not too worried about it. He's still looking straight forward. Trying to get the scout off of his medic. Pipes in. You can see how long it takes for a Demoman to reload all of his stickies and all of his pipes. One thing you'll notice is that the best players in this game will practice a method and then just keep doing it over and over again. And as you can see, like, you know, you don't want to mess with something that's working, right? So for them, like, for a demo when you get to mid, you know, you want to shoot all 8 of your stickies first and then follow that up with pipes. You could use pipes earlier on, but they're just not as reliable, and also they're not as good. Pipes are better for close range, so after the scouts or soldiers have bombed their way onto you, you could use stickies to try and defend yourself, but you know, at that point they're so close you might as well use pipes. And you can see, I mean, he played the same way every single mid. Like, he got to mid right side, tried to go for Sweater early, tried to go for scouts, and then after that pulled out his pipes and tried to make the best with what he got. Again, we're seeing this situation, even Ubers, even numbers, and it's RR in front of Blank, spamming down the left side, what's known as cheese, where Sweater is trying to spam from. Oof. Scout eats an early pipe, Memphis Vaughn goes down, and Mike goes down soon after, and so they're expecting a push. So when you expect a team to push you, you set up traps. You can see him, he set one up in the saw room there, he set one up on that right side, that's where the combo's coming from now, Dets, and that's going to force the Uber from Indus. 6 on 4 now, looks like there's a lot of flashing going on here from the Madmen. And AG are bringing tons of players in, so R is trying to hold them off as best he can, trying to take them off of the high ground, also going for these scouts pretty aggressively on top of the shack.
The control point is being contested.
He's taking a lot of damage himself, but he's also dealing a ton of damage. It's a little bit low, backs himself off, and you notice the way that he's playing the entire time. He's keeping his teammates in front of him. Love the focus fire, the cleanup coming in from the scouts.
Control point is being captured.
And as they push their way in towards last, again, no soldiers alive for AG, so Madmen need to get in there quickly, need to start fighting. You can see RR spamming stickies,
Our last control point is being
or
captured.
sticky sniping I should say.
The final control point is being contested.
He's in a pretty safe position back there actually. Even though the soldier bombs him, he has a hard time taking him down. That's another thing I just saw there in watching that last push, is that when RR went lower, he didn't just WM1 his way in there and start spamming stickies all over the place. He actually just charged his stickies and just tried to get, you know, one in at a time. I think if he actually decided to push forward closer to the point, he would have been in a situation where he would have been in danger, and he wanted his scouts and his soldiers to get there in front of him first. I think if they were closer to the point, he would have pushed up himself, but because there was no one really in last at that point, he was just sticky sniping. So. And yeah, as you've been watching, there hasn't been too many deaths from RR. He's been doing a pretty good job of staying alive. He went right side every single mid in this match. He hasn't really hit anybody with these early stickies, and now he's just spreading them out all over the place. Trying to hit this soldier who's coming in on him, and wow, a lot of cleanup coming in from his teammates. Actually going for the bomb. That's a situation there when you're bombing in that you know the enemy scout, as you were watching him, Squid, just run away. There's no way that he's going to turn around and shoot RR, even though RR was down to, what, 40, 60 health?
Time has been added.
I think he went back to pick up his medic. So even Ubers, match point for either team. The score is 4-4. And
Alert. The control point is being contested.
I think they're going to be able to get the second point pretty easily, as AG looks like they're running heavy NG sniper, so they're already setting up their last point.
Time has been added.
Okay, so what you're seeing right now is both teams just building up an Uber. One of the slower parts of the game. And RR's job isn't really to watch any of the doors you're seeing. I mean, he's just kind of hanging out. He knows the enemy team can't push into him. He's just getting ammo. Playing conservatively, doesn't put himself in any dangerous position at all.
Alert. The final control point is being contested.
Squid takes down Blank. Looks like it's a two-man sack from the Madmen. Again, when you're expecting someone to push you, you can see he's putting up a trap. Good damage on the combo, but he can't quite force Indust. Indust still had about 75 health. You can see the way RR is playing, he's not trying to kill anybody, he's just trying to make sure that AG can't push out of the situation. He's playing very conservatively, playing with his medic, with the heals, and just putting up traps, and then when they decide to push upper lobby, he's just spamming the crap out of them. But he's not trying to go for any kills, he's purely making sure that his respawners have enough time to come up and get back to second point. Again, even Uber situation, a lot of off-classers from AG, so off-classers are a blessing and a curse when you think about it. They do a great job of helping you to defend the last point, but they also make it very difficult for you to push out without scouts. So, I mean, once you know that the enemy team has off-classers, you can kind of just chill out and figure your next plan out. R is comfortably moving through the lobby, Sticky's up that right side. And I think that the Madmen are going to try and snipe from the left side. You see Mike being tanked on the left. Again, he's not trying to spam any damage on the enemy combo. He's not trying to kill anybody. He's literally just trying to make sure that AG can't push out. Got Stickies all over the place. That's his job, to cover the right side. His teammate will cover underneath and left. But a Demoman can single-handedly lock down any choke. He actually hit a lot of damage onto a sweater with the help of Mike. He's padding his damage stats right now. Mike goes down to Boink, and this is an opportunity where AG could sacrifice a player or push out. They're not necessarily going to do either one of those, especially with it being match point, but there's a potential for that. So you see RR gets back with his medic, he leaves the right side open, or leaves another player to cover it, and then he just covers the side where the combo is most likely to push out from. Mike back on sniper, and I guess they're just gonna play the slow game until Mike turns a pick. You can see RR throwing stickies and making space for his sniper so that so that Mike can actually come around here comfortably and try and get in. Unfortunately for him, AG's soldiers are doing a really great job of holding close to the choke, making it difficult for the sniper to get that angle. And on the newest version of Snakewater, that angle is pretty much cut off by a new wall that they put there, if you haven't seen the latest release of the map. Okay, so that's the frag that they need. Rando goes down. And double check. Oh, nope. That's actually Deadringer. Nice. Trying to bait that push. This is unfortunately one of the slowest parts, and potentially one of the worst parts of TF2. I mean, it's necessary, I guess, considering how high the stakes are. Both these teams, again, 4th place, 5th place, you know, they desperately need this win, and so AG can't afford to mess up when pushing out, and Madnet can't afford to let AG push out of the situation, so it's difficult. But unfortunately for the Madmen, AG have turned 2 frags that are not including the sniper, so AG are going to push out on this. They pop their Uber first, Nosferatu second. You can see RR takes a little bit of this Uber, actually a lot of bit of this Uber, trying to lock out the enemy combo. Indus, oh, he's in a lot of trouble. RR can't finish off that frag. He's doing a really good job of locking down all 3 of these doors though by himself. Not really by himself, but you know, he's getting damage on all 3 of the doors. Anywhere that they're attempting to come out, and now with the man advantage, the Madmen are pushing their way in down the deep left. RR has good health here. He's just pushing across very aggressively, expecting the bomb. Nice job juggling up the soldier. Can he finish him off? Yes. Oh, I don't think the Madmen can do this though. There's too many respawners up for AG. That was a good attempt though. Pretty good try. One thing that's kind of risky though is that RR is putting himself really far out there. I think he was the furthest person out in front for his team, and when he goes down, it allows AG a chance to push out. You can see every time your Demoman dies, the enemy can actually try and take the next point. Snakewater in this version, the second respawn is very close to second point, so RR is immediately able to roll out here and get a frag on a Rando. In the new version of Snakewater, you cannot do that, so that's a little bit of a barrier there. It's one of the more unfortunate parts of this map. It made it so difficult to push out because the forward spawn was so close to second point. Oh, I saw a little bit of a sticky on the right side of my eye. I wasn't quite sure if it was there, but there was a sticky trap on the door. Almost takes RR down. Luckily for him, he doesn't die, and he's able to just pull back to this situation. But if he did die there, AG would have been able to push out of that. But again, the Demoman, it's so important that you stay alive because you're the main force that's stopping the enemy team from pushing out. It's the traps that are hard to find and then hard to take down. Like the trap he has right there in front of him, the angle that you need to be at in order to shoot those stickies is you have to be perpendicular to the trap, which if the soldiers are doing their job correctly can just push you off of that. So you really, there's no way to push in against that trap. So Demoman is so key for his team. I was talking to one of my teammates earlier actually about it, and it's really important that you get your stickies up as close to the the most easily defendable choke as possible. Oh, they're going for a 3-man sack? 3-man sack. 4-man sack. Okay, they sacrifice RR in on that. That's a pretty textbook play there. You throw 4 players in, try and get the medic to force or drop, and in this situation they did get indus after all, so now they just need to roll out and use this 100% Uber advantage to hopefully take the round. Looks like they're gonna go underneath. Underneath's pretty safe there. Lets you protect yourself from any potential bombers. They're clearing their way through, and they have huge advantage, so RR should be expected to take some of this Uber, or, oh, yeah, here he goes. Did he lag out? Yeah, he lags out there, but I don't even think it matters. No, Madman win it, 5-4. Cool. So, I hope you learned something from that demo. That demo being that recording, but also that Demoman. No, RR, yeah, there's a reason he had the highest damage output for his team. I mean, you saw there. I mean, part of it is just, pure skill. The other part of it is just that he was, you could see during the holds, he was spamming the entire time. On defense even, sometimes he was spamming instead of blank. A lot of times you'll see the pocket soldier spamming, but in this situation, RR was just sticky sniping, throwing pipes in all over the place. And his mid strategy was pretty consistent every time. Went right side, took the pack, tried to land a couple stickies on Sweater, then he went for the scouts, and then tried to defend himself against the roamers and the roaming soldiers with the pipes. So that was pretty consistent. It worked out for half of the mids, I would say. The other half it didn't work out, so I'm not sure if he had any intention to change his strategy at all, but he literally did the same thing for 9 mids in a row. As far as pushing with Ubers, it looks like on evens he didn't want to go in at all, but when he did have advantage, he went in there, and a lot of sticky spamming, and then pipes on the chokes. So hopefully you learned something. I'm hopefully, well, the idea at least for these demo reviews is to try and get more relevant demos that are from season 15, this current season. The season has just started now, week 1 has just begun, but hopefully I'll be able to grab some more current recordings of the matches that we're seeing. A lot of the new teams this season looking pretty strong. In fact, what was formerly HRG, now Team IT from the Jump It servers, RR is actually on that team, so he was recruited to play Demoman there for Banny's spot. But then he's playing Roamer now, so that'll be interesting to watch him this season. I think they just won their first match tonight, so again, hopefully you enjoyed this. Please leave a comment below. I want to know, what you like, what you don't like watching, what do you want me to talk about when you watch these, who do you want to watch, what maps do you like. Please, anything you can give me is good feedback. Hopefully I can create some good content for you guys, and I look forward to seeing you on the next video. See you.